Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make UTP 5, 6, 7 or 8 cable. I'm going to demonstrate this on an UTP 6 cable. The cable itself, it's quite simple. It has 4 colorful pairs and there is this middle plastic section that separates them, and there is this ripping cord that you can pull back to rip the cable's outer layer. And then actually there are the 4 separate brown, blue, orange and green cable pairs that are paired with white with colorful stripes. And the cable is simple as that. What we need to use for this cable is the tools, is a wire cutter, a simple wire cutter to cut the wire and have a clean surface. Crimping tool, obvious reason, we need to put the cable's end to the cable. For it we need a crimping tool. A punch down tool if we want to put in the LAN cable for our wall socket or something like that. We would need a punch down tool, and obviously we need a network cable tester because there is no good cable without testing it. So the wire cutter obviously will be useful to cut the wires and cut everything unnecessary inside it. For example, the plastic separator layer or the ripping cord. To blank the cable, I would not recommend the wire cut blanker because sometimes it generates too much force on the inner smaller cables and it might damage them. So yeah, I would not recommend it. Sometimes it's good, but most of the time it damages it. So if we just clean the cable with the wire cutter, there is this small place where you can put the cable inside the crimping tool and just rotate the cable and it will mark it, and if you just pull it a little bit it will stretch and rip, and then you have a clean cut without damaging the inner cables. Or the other way is to use the ripping cord, just mark the cable anywhere. Most of the time this is used for longer distance, if you want to strip the cable for a while, and just pull back the ripping cable and it will rip the outer layer, and then you can just remove it. So yeah, the crimping tool itself is obviously used to put the cable end to the cable, the plug actually, and it will just push down that plastic place at the beginning, which will lock to the cable and push down the pins that will lock to the inner smaller cables. The punch down tool, as you can see, punches and removes the excess cable at the end. And the network cable tester obviously tests for each pin from 1 to 8 to see if they are good or not. Okay, let's start. So first we need to blank the cable and remove the outer layer. Then we don't need this ripping cord, so with our wire cutter we're just gonna use it to get rid of it. And there is the inner separator plastic layer, which is not useful for us if we want to put in the plug, so we just remove this separator as well. It's not necessary. After that we just make the wires stretched out and clean and separated in pairs because we will use them shortly for our colorful table. I have the B palette in my house, so I need to make this UTP cable with that schema. If you have A in your house or you want to make an A, just use the A colorful schema. Don't mix it. If you mix it, then communication will be bad inside the cable, so just just use the hole A or B in whatever place you are, and don't mix it up. So just look up what kind of schema you have in your house, and if you're making a cable, just make it as it is, A or B. So in this case I am doing B, so white with orange stripes, orange, white with green stripes, blue, white with blue, green, white with brown, and brown. And as you can see, cables are sometimes moving, so you have to rearrange them to pick up the form that you want to fix them in. So just look it up, look again, make sure that the color is matching the schema that you are looking at. Just rearrange them, and then if you have the perfect lineup, just push down at the end so the cable stays at the same as you want to, and then make it a cut with your wire cutter. You don't need much from this small cables, but you need some to push it inside the plug. So just make some space, like I don't know, a few centimeters, 1 or 2. It's just enough. But make sure that the outer layer of the cable is inside the plug as well. The plug faces down, so the pins face up, and then you just force in the cable with the proper aligned colors. And after a short check, I was sure that the cable is inside properly. As you can see, you see the pins, orange, blue, green, and brown there, and you have to check that the white ones are perfect as well. Then you get the crimping tool and just put it in till it hits the end. Make sure it's there and secured, and push down. You need some force, but it's not too hard, and that will fix the cable inside and push down the pins to the small cables to make a connection with them. As you can see, it's connected, it's locked, it's not gonna remove now. And actually that's it. I put another end to the other part of the cable and just crimp in there as well. Obviously we need this to test our cable if it has any damage inside or something. So just get the network cable tester, and this is actually a simple device. You can test coax cable as well, but right now we are using it for our Rj45 LAN cable. And just plug it in, turn it on, and it will go through the pins from 1 to 8, and if one is not lighting up, then there is an issue with that pin. Kinda that simple. With a wall plug, I have a simple wall plug here that's obviously gonna use to put the cable inside. We need the punch down tool for this, and obviously we are going to use some kind of network tester, because for obvious reasons we need to know that we did everything wrong, we didn't screw up some kind of pin there, because it would be a shame after all. And we need a wire cutter obviously to clean the surface and make the cable usable. So our wall plug is actually quite helpful because the color scheme is on it. So as you can see, you can choose the A or the B. I'm obviously going to choose the B again, so I need to use that colors cable at that places where it writes down. So just remove this small part, and there are the places where you need to put the small cables in. Pull this up to the cable, and then we can start fixing the needed colors at the places places that it's written to. So for starter, we start with brown and the white with brown. So just put it on place, and after, with my tiny hands, I secure them a little bit. I get the punch down tool and just use it to punch down actually the smaller cables. It's quite simple, it's quite easy. At the end of the punch down tool there is this small cutting place. As you can see, there is some kind of scissor, which, if the smaller cable is located properly, it will cut and make a clean cut at the end of the place where you need to. So you can see on the white brown stripe, yes, the cut is clean and the cable can be removed, and there is no excess now. That is not necessary. Here comes the orange one. So white with orange and orange comes next. So just find those, move them to the place, and then start punching it down, which is actually kinda fun to do, because the cable is, you know, flying at the end when you cut it off. So it's really funny, and it's not too hard. And with this simple, if there is some kind of issue, for example, as I have now, the cable jumped out, it's totally fine. Just put it back, get the punch down tool, put it down, move the cable so it will be cut, and just punch it down again. And that's it. Actually, you do this with all of the colors, and you have a wall plug. You just need to put it in your drywall or whatever, and yeah, you have a good connection in your house. You have long cables, or however long you want to, and this is an easy method to have good cables. Make sure that you have good cables in your house, because sometimes, you know, contractors are gonna screw you up if you're not you know, knowledgeable on the field. So you need some force to punch down this, because to make sure that the little scissor is cutting properly, but that's why my hand is shaking, because I'm doing it, you know, off the ground. So yeah, some force is needed there at the end, but it's not like a brutal force. So here comes the last one, the green one. Just put in the white with green and the full green, secure it, and you can start punching it down, and at the end we are kind of finished with it. I mean, we are finished with preparing the wall plug. We need to test it. If we screw up something, for example, we did some bad with the cables, if we damage the cables inside, or while we are securing them. So we need the tester. Just secure this place at the end. I didn't quite actually secure it properly, so I had to move it a little bit, and with that being said, I have it a cable end at the other end, so we can just test it. And here's our small cable that we did previously, and if we just plug it in, the tester will restart and go through the pins. 1 is okay, 2 is okay, 3 is okay, 4 is okay, 5 is okay, 6, 7 and 8 is perfect as well. So we did perfectly. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please push the like button and subscribe if you want to see more.